Your being here is not a coincidence. Trust the feeling that led you to these words today. This message has found you because you have been carrying a quiet weight for a long time, hoping something would finally bring peace to the storm inside your heart. You have faced much of this journey alone, worried that if you shared what you were feeling, others might dismiss it as overthinking or simply your imagination. Yet that gentle voice within you has always been stronger than the opinions of the outside world. It stayed with you through your darkest and loneliest moments, speaking softly even when you tried to distract yourself or stay busy. You did not choose to create these feelings. They have risen naturally from deep within you, becoming harder and harder to ignore. What if this feeling that keeps returning is not something to fear, but a message from a deeper part of yourself guiding you toward the truth? The reason it refuses to disappear is because it comes from a level of understanding that your mind is only beginning to recognize. Something inside you is awakening, offering clarity that your fears once tried to silence. There was a time when you tried to quiet your heart to protect yourself. You convinced yourself that these emotions were too intense to be trusted, or that they could not possibly be real. But no matter how often you pushed them away, they always returned. That happened because something much deeper within you was not ready to let them go. There is a reason these thoughts keep coming back to your awareness. It is not an accident. You are slowly beginning to understand why your emotions respond so deeply to one particular person. The connection you feel is unlike ordinary relationships. It carries a depth that remains even when there is distance or long periods of silence between you. That silence is not truly empty. It holds meaning, emotion, and an invisible connection that continues beneath the surface. Your intuition does not fade because your heart understands what your logical mind is still trying to explain. This does not feel temporary or random. Instead, it feels like a deep sense of recognition, as if a part of your soul remembers something your conscious mind cannot fully describe. The more you try to dismiss these feelings, the stronger they seem to become. They keep drawing you back to the same inner place, reminding you that this connection entered your life for a meaningful reason. You are not imagining these emotions, and you are not losing yourself. They come from a place beyond everyday thinking. When you choose to listen beyond fear, you may begin to realize that this is about more than simple attraction. It feels like an alignment with something that reflects your true self. Your mind, shaped by past disappointments and the need to protect yourself, may call it uncertainty or risk, yet your heart continues to recognize that there is genuine meaning here. A true soul connection often reveals itself through signs that cannot easily be forced or explained. One of those signs is a quiet sense of peace. Even when that person is not beside you, a calm knowing remains deep within, reminding you that the bond still exists in some way, even without constant communication. That peaceful feeling comes from the part of you that trusts what is truly meant for you will never be lost. This connection also acts like a mirror, helping you discover parts of yourself that you may have ignored for years. It encourages growth, not only for the sake of another person, but for your own emotional strength and personal development. The experience seems to carry a purpose beyond ordinary encounters. Unlike simple attachment, these feelings do not disappear easily. Logic alone cannot erase them because something inside you refuses to believe the story is over. You may wonder why there has been so much distance or silence if this connection is truly important. Those questions can feel heavy, but life does not always move in a straight line. Some things require time before they can fully unfold. What is deeply rooted within you does not simply disappear because of separation or passing time. Sometimes connections pause, not because they are ending, but because both people need time to grow individually. Beneath everything you can see, a deeper process is unfolding. Life often prepares both people before bringing them back into alignment. What seems like distance may actually be a season of growth. Even if your mind struggles to accept it, this story is still unfolding. It is not the end. It is simply a pause during which unseen changes are taking place. Both people continue to learn through their experiences, developing emotional strength, wisdom, and greater self-awareness. The space between you exists for growth rather than punishment. It allows each person to become more grounded, so that if your paths cross again, the connection can be healthier, stronger, and more balanced. Nothing that has happened has been wasted. What has taken root within your heart does not simply disappear. It continues to exist through silence, uncertainty, and change. Love, in its purest form, does not vanish. It evolves. It teaches valuable lessons, challenges old beliefs, and encourages deeper understanding. Confusion often appears when fear and intuition are pulling you in opposite directions. That inner conflict is part of awakening to a deeper truth. Distance is not always the same as absence. Sometimes it is simply quiet alignment taking place beneath the surface. Old emotional wounds are slowly being healed so that something healthier can grow. If everything had happened before both of you were emotionally ready, the connection might have become unstable or overwhelming. In that sense, the pause serves as protection. It creates room for emotional balance so that if the relationship returns, it can be built on stability instead of confusion. This period apart also encourages you to strengthen your relationship with yourself. It teaches you that love should never cause you to lose your identity. Instead, it should support your growth and help you become a better version of yourself. Distance becomes a teacher. It brings hidden fears to the surface, including loneliness, doubt, and emotional uncertainty, so they can finally be understood and released. As you continue to grow, you become more complete from within, no longer depending entirely on outside approval. As your inner world changes, the energy between you changes as well. It does not disappear. It becomes more mature, balanced, and emotionally clear. At the same time, the other person may also be experiencing their own inner journey. Even if their actions seem distant or confusing, it does not automatically mean they feel nothing. Sometimes what appears to be avoidance is actually someone struggling to understand their own emotions. Many people wrestle with their feelings before they are able to express them honestly. Silence can sometimes come from emotional overwhelm rather than a lack of care. Inner resistance can create distance even when a meaningful connection still exists beneath the surface. This process can be just as challenging for them as it is for you. Eventually, both people reach moments of greater clarity. There comes a time when emotional truth becomes stronger than fear. At that point, avoidance can no longer hide what the heart already knows. If a reunion or reconnection happens, it will not be based only on memories or longing. It will come from acceptance, emotional maturity, and honesty. The walls that once kept feelings hidden begin to soften, allowing openness and truth to take their place. Timing plays an important role in connections like this. Life often brings people together only when both individuals are truly prepared to handle the emotional depth that the relationship requires. Meanwhile, life continues to shape both of you in ways that are not always visible. During this time, your role is not to wait with fear or anxiety. Instead, focus on preparing yourself from within. Become emotionally strong, peaceful, and balanced, rather than depending on uncertainty or outside validation. You are being encouraged to let go of fear and emotional pressure so that if this connection returns, you will be ready to welcome it from a place of confidence and inner peace. Release the need to control every detail or predict exactly how and when everything will happen. Trust life to unfold in its own natural way. Forgiveness is also an important part of this journey. Forgive the silence, the distance, and the confusion. Not because you already understand everything, but because carrying emotional pain only slows your own growth. Even the difficult experiences have helped shape your strength and wisdom. Stay connected to the peace you are creating within yourself. What seems unfinished today is slowly moving toward understanding. Silence does not always mean nothing is happening. Often, it is a season of change taking place beneath the surface. The other person is also facing an inner struggle. Their silence does not necessarily mean they have forgotten you. It may simply mean they are still working through emotions they cannot yet express. Even if those feelings remain hidden beneath fear or uncertainty, their emotional world is still active. From the outside, pride, fear, and resistance can easily look like indifference. But deep inside, something is changing. Old emotional walls are slowly breaking down, making room for growth and understanding. Without this process, real change could never happen. Old habits and emotional patterns must soften before something healthier can take their place. Both of you are being transformed through this experience. Perhaps you keep noticing repeating numbers throughout your day. Maybe there is a certain feeling that quietly returns every evening, familiar enough that you cannot ignore it. These moments may seem too perfectly timed to be simple coincidences. They may feel like gentle reminders that life is guiding you towards something meaningful. Instead of dismissing these experiences, take a moment to acknowledge them. If it helps, speak them aloud and allow yourself to recognize the peace they bring. Signs that fill your heart with peace often guide you toward truth, while signs that create fear usually come from anxious thinking. Deep inside, your intuition already knows the difference. What you feel about this connection is not simply your imagination. It is not empty hope. Your emotions carry real meaning, even if you cannot fully explain them. Change is happening, not only within you, but within the other person as well. Feelings that were once hidden are beginning to rise again. Confusion is slowly giving way to clarity. Truth is starting to replace silence. Everything is moving toward a moment that already exists beyond what you can currently see. It is a moment that has been waiting for the right time to arrive. Every lesson, every period of silence, every emotional breakthrough has been leading toward that point. This is the unexpected turning point. Life does not bring two people through separation, reflection, silence, and personal growth without a purpose. Every pause carries meaning. Every distance teaches something valuable. Every challenge prepares you for what comes next. The emotional intensity, the moments of pulling away, and even the difficult periods of self-reflection are all part of a greater preparation. Healing old wounds and letting go of unhealthy attachments are not punishments. They are necessary steps in building something stronger and healthier. When the turning point finally arrives, it will not leave you confused. You will not need to constantly search for hidden meanings. It will become clear, direct, and impossible to ignore. When the right moment comes, life has a way of making things obvious. It does not rely on endless hints or uncertainty. The change becomes something you can recognize with confidence. The action that follows will not come from temporary emotions or convenience. It will come from someone who has reached the point where avoiding the truth is no longer possible. It will come from a heart that finally understands the value of what it once pushed away. It will come from someone who realizes that running from the truth creates even greater pain than facing it. Their response will be filled with honesty, humility, and emotional openness. These are qualities they may have struggled to express before, but can no longer keep hidden. This turning point does not happen while either person is still controlled by impatience, fear, or desperation. It happens only after both people have grown enough to protect the connection instead of damaging it through old emotional habits. Life does not bring two unhealed hearts together simply to repeat the same pain. It brings together two people who have become stronger, wiser, and more emotionally secure. That is why the distance was necessary. That is why silence became part of your journey. That is why both of you were encouraged to spend time reflecting on your own lives. None of it happened without purpose. It was preparation, not only for the relationship, but also for your own personal growth. As this new chapter begins to draw closer, your final step is learning how to receive what life is offering. Being ready to receive does not mean waiting with fear or constant expectation. It means creating space within yourself for peace, balance, and openness. Clear away any fear, resentment, or doubt so that if love returns, it meets a heart that is full instead of one that feels empty. Meet life with strength instead of insecurity. If the same fears that once created distance remain unchanged, they can easily repeat the same cycle. That is why your inner preparation matters so much. True openness also requires letting go of rigid expectations. Stop trying to control every detail or predict every future moment. Holding too tightly to one outcome only interrupts the natural flow of life. Choosing to let go of control is an act of trust. It means believing that what truly belongs in your life does not need to be forced. It will arrive in the right way and at the right time. When you embrace this understanding, you stop resisting what is already moving toward you. It is equally important to release any bitterness that still remains in your heart. The ego often uses old pain as a reason to stay guarded, but that same bitterness prevents love and peace from entering. Forgive the silence. Forgive the distance. Forgive the confusion that became part of your story. This does not mean every action was acceptable. It simply means you accept that these experiences helped shape both of you into who you are becoming. Their absence contributed to your emotional growth. Every moment apart strengthened your awareness and resilience. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to someone else. It is a gift you give to yourself. By letting go of emotional burdens that no longer serve you, you create room for peace. As life continues to move forward and new changes begin to unfold, remain grounded within yourself and trust the quiet transformation taking place. You may begin to notice that the signs around you are becoming stronger and appearing more often than before. Small moments that once seemed like coincidences may now feel more meaningful. Your intuition may become clearer, calmer, and easier to trust. You may find yourself understanding situations without needing every answer or every explanation. Instead of feeling confused, you may notice a quiet sense of certainty growing within you. As emotions continue to rise, do your best to stay grounded in peace. That inner peace is not something to search for outside yourself. It is something you build within, and it becomes the strongest foundation for everything that is meant to remain in your life. Without that foundation, even beautiful relationships can struggle under the weight of fear, uncertainty, and misunderstanding. But when peace becomes part of who you are, everything begins to feel more balanced, more stable, and more connected to your true path. What is happening now is not only about someone else's journey, it is also about yours. Life is not simply preparing another person for a possible return. It is preparing you to receive everything you once wished for in a healthier, wiser, and more complete way. The person you are becoming is the greatest gift of this entire experience. Your growth has never been an accident. It has always been the purpose behind every challenge, every delay, and every lesson. Every difficult moment has been shaping you into someone who sees life differently. The pain did not come to break your spirit. It came to strengthen it. The waiting did not exist to punish you. It existed to teach you patience, emotional balance, and self-worth. Every experience has slowly been removing the old fears that once controlled your decisions. Piece by piece, you have been learning how to trust yourself more deeply than ever before. This inner transformation is what makes every future connection stronger. If reunion becomes part of your story, it will not be built on the same fears that once created distance. It will not repeat the same unhealthy patterns or emotional confusion. Instead, it can grow from understanding, honesty, emotional maturity, and mutual respect. Real change always begins within. Once that change becomes part of you, every relationship around you naturally begins to reflect it. There is a quiet feeling that something long unfinished is finally reaching its natural ending. The season of separation, uncertainty, and emotional heaviness may be coming closer to completion. Sometimes endings do not arrive with loud announcements. They arrive gently, bringing a deep sense of peace that tells you something new is beginning. You may not see every answer today, but you can feel that the energy around your journey is changing. The greatest reward of everything you have experienced is not simply the possibility of someone returning to your life. The greatest reward is the person you have become because of everything you survived. You are no longer the same person who first stepped onto this path. You now carry greater wisdom than you once had. You understand your own heart more clearly. You recognize your value without needing constant reassurance from others. You have learned lessons that only experience could teach. Your emotional strength has grown in ways you may not fully recognize yet. The challenges that once felt impossible have quietly built resilience inside you. Every setback has added another layer of understanding. Every disappointment has shown you what truly matters. Every moment of silence has helped you hear your own inner voice more clearly. These are gifts that no one can take away from you because they have become part of who you are. You have also developed a deeper sense of self-respect. You now understand that love should never require you to abandon yourself. You know that healthy relationships grow through honesty, trust, patience, and mutual care. You no longer feel the need to chase what is meant for you or force what refuses to stay. Instead, you are learning that the right things enter your life naturally when your heart is ready to receive them.